Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We had a quite little bit of short break, but we are ready with round one action. We have Jimmy Pendarvis, of course, but he is up against Chris Pettit, and
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see. Like, is Jimmy just gonna dominate this tournament again?
Yep. This will
Round one
be his
here.
first step towards doing so if he plans on doing it again. I'm sure he would like to do it again. So
Yeah,
I'll score one for him.
we can go ahead and go to the game. I think they're setting up right now.
Yeah. So what will Jimmy be playing against? And I wonder if do you think he would have made any changes to his list? I mean, given how much he's
So
done with it,
if
probably
you
not.
look at his list from Portland compared to Anaheim, maybe like one or two cards. He didn't really change a lot here, but it could be interesting to see if they maybe toss in like a Alolan Muck or something because they're
Yeah.
scared of Unknown because Silent Lab doesn't really get there,
No, it
or
doesn't.
if they play. I don't know. There's so many cards you can play in this deck. It's so diverse
Yeah.
in its portfolio.
Yeah.
Actually starts that Giraffe Rig here, and it's looking like he is up against a Zorar Garbodor, so pretty much the same matchup
Yeah.
uh,
But
that we were talking about before.
again, assuming that the Klefki from Mike was actually for Zorogarb and not for
Yeah,
a known deck.
and there is the Bridget. These decks usually only play one copy of Bridget here, but oh no. Looking, has that Tapu Lele in the active spot. Does he have his second one in the deck? Most of these decks play two, but
He's just
oh, he moved to the front. Okay,
he's just pre-grabbing everything, so he's going bang, then Bridget's, and all the free Pokemon he wants already there at the front of the deck.
and this is really what you want to see when you start with Zoroark of any kind.
Exactly.
But granted, those two Tapu Lele on the field could be huge liabilities going forward.
That was exactly the same. That was actually a very similar start to what Jimmy had before the repair. So again, let it start active, having to use the other one to grab a Bridget. So, although unlike the last game, Chance is actually Jimmy's going second as opposed to going first last time. So, see how that ends up affecting him.
Yeah, Chance's hand is actually pretty amazing here, especially for next turn. But unfortunately, like, one route Jimmy can go is if he has the energy to commit, he could get lost to Guzma in Chance's discard, and they only play one Guzma.
So then he wouldn't actually be able to switch out to the active. And I imagine if Jimmy can go for that, given that he needs to retreat that Giraffe Rig anyway, that's probably what he's going to go for.
Yeah, it could be backbreaking, and it just means that Chance would be forced to attach a Floatstone to the active Tapu Lele, not really having access to those switch effects anymore.
Yeah. Very interesting there. We see that's actually Jimmy.
Pokemon Fan Club,
Yeah.
yes, I am ready for it. Pokemon Fan Club being a little bit better than Bridget in a sense that you can get EXs with it,
Yeah.
multiple EXs, but you also get them to your hand. So what we just saw him do was, all right, well, I want Toad for this matchup anyway, so I need Toad, but I'm not going to Bridget for it.
Oh,
That's
no.
just a waste. So I'm in a Fan Club, and then I'll just Lele get my supporter for next turn, because my opponent's going to play a giant bench because there's Zoroark.
Yeah, exactly. The only issue here for Jimmy being, of course, that means that he won't be able to get down a Zora of his own this turn, which could cripple him in terms of his consistency.
Yeah, it could be, but then also if he get lost at Guzma, or oh, he could just be going for Quaking Punch here. Does he have a good out to retreat?
He's looking. I think he's actually
Floatstone in hand, maybe.
he's having that internal debate, and no, he
There
does
we go.
just decide to go for
See, he looked through that discard. He's like, "Oh, you got Guzma Garb in there.
Yeah.
All right, get lost."
Yeah, literally get lost. There he is announcing to get lost, and bang.
That means he only has to deal with one more Garbodor, and no Guzma for this entire game. And oh, there is the Versus Seeker off the top of the deck, a card that could have saved that Guzma.
Yeah, no, but not to be absolutely wounded. And
he actually had another one in his hand too, so he just opted not to play it in the face of Giraffe Rig.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Especially maybe Chance just thought that that's not what Jimmy would go for, that he'd want to attach something else, but now Jimmy has, and now Chance is stuck.
All right, but this is looking like a pretty strong hand here from Chance, being able to set up for 4 cards, getting a couple of cards that allow him to get that Zoroark GX into play here.
Yeah, good old Pokemon communication, of course. Card lets you just reveal a Pokemon from your hand and then put it on top of your deck and just grab any Pokemon you want from your deck afterwards.
Yeah, and if we also look, Zoroark's not really an important card for Jimmy in this matchup as well, just he's not really going to be able to one-shot his opponent's Zoroarks.
No.
And they're kind of just a liability on that bench. Without Guzma now, he can start setting him up and not really ever have to bring him up active.
No, exactly. And that'll work out really well for him. Now there's the Colress from Chance. So he's going to be drawing himself a nice 7 cards here. So
8 cards.
Eight?
Yeah, he divided his bench, so he has 2 rows for
Oh,
Skyfield.
okay, yeah. Of course, they had that Shaman down there. So, yeah, very good Colress here from him. But it's going to be interesting to see if ever he can actually find anything to get himself out of the active. I don't believe that his... he has actually drawn the Floatstone.
Okay, so he has Floatstone already attached for the turn for double colorless. Gets that second Zoroark GX in play as well. Pretty good start here from Chance, but he's gonna have to navigate this whole game without Guzma.
Yeah, and that's going to be very tricky for him, of course. Guzma's so vital for so many game enders, especially picking up things on the bench or just even trying to attack around things, which will always be annoying. But that option no longer available to Chance for the rest of this game just because of that one get lost.
There's the 2 Versus Seekers he had in his hand from earlier.
Oh, no.
Not really having good targets for those. I might want to even Versus Seeker the Colress back to your hand right now.
Well, he has got trades, so he's getting rid of one of the Versus Seekers for that trade. Draws himself an N and a Field Blower. He might even want to consider getting rid of some of those items if he thinks that, in fact, he's going to go trade away the other Field Blower. Because Jimmy is likely going to be doing Quaking Punch over in the either next turn or in the next few turns. So
or for every turn.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been bad. He already played the supporter for the turn.
Yep.
Looking for that Ultra Ball there and being able to get that Garbodor. And this is another reason, I guess, Jimmy doesn't really feel pressured to get Zoroarks in play because, yeah, my opponent is playing Garb. Most of the time, I'm not going to be able to trade. So I can wait to set it up a little bit.
So you can play it almost just like a sort of straight-sized Petode deck right now. Yeah, that makes sense too.
And 2 Floatstones from Chance. Those are the only 2 this deck plays, by the way. So
pretty good to find both of them.
Pretty good. Has that Versus Seeker for that core. Sets up for next turn. Takes the knockout with Riotous Beating. There's the Execute card that he could have used this past turn to conserve some of his resources.
But not if you just pulled it off the prizes, surely.
No, I know. He got it from the prize.
Right, yeah. If they say, that makes sense. There's an Enhanced Hammer from Jimmy and double colors onto the side episode as well, and then just following it up with a Colress. So Jimmy's going to have to find a way to come back here. That return there from Chance was pretty strong, all things considered.
Yeah, Enhanced Hammer is definitely a card that really just shines in this deck.
Yeah.
It's not the best looking forward with cards like Special Charge and stuff like that, but when you can go Enhanced Hammer, Get Lost, or Enhanced Hammer, Quaking Punch, it's so oppressive. Yeah,
absolutely. And that is the strength of Farba, which we were just talking about earlier. Of course, the fact that that card puts energies into the Lost Zone means that Special Charge can't get them back, which is usually the way that double colorless reliant decks try to just get by on 4 double colorless throughout the whole game.
So one card that's important to see if Jimmy drew here is that Fighting Fury Belt. Does not seem to have it. Does get that Silent Lab to bump the stadium, which will have to force Chance to discard down to 5.
Yep, so down go the 2 Shamans to the discard pile. Looks like keeping the 2 Zoroarks, Zora, the Tapu Leles, and the Garbodor. And now an Ultra Ball. Going to finally find him one of his Zoras, just able to get one out.
Yeah, coming out to play.
Yep.
Yeah. Zoroark's too good of a card to not be play in almost every round of this tournament.
Yeah.
So it'll be good.
Yeah, it will be. But much like you said, though, no Fighting Fury Belt for Jimmy, which is kind of important. Of course, it's the card that makes it so that Chance has to dig for a choice band to take a knockout on Seismitoad, but now all Chance...
No, not even. With the Fighting Fury Belt, choice band does not take a knockout on Seismitoad.
But yeah, exactly, there you go.
And then if you Quaking Punch, he's not even able to play choice band.
Yeah.
But the way it is now, if he gets Skyfield, he cannot trade.
Nope.
Yeah. It is a good thing that he did not look at those cards.
Yep. So he's able to just take it back, and the game continues. He has got the follow-up double colors energy, so yeah, he will attach that. So now he just needs to find a Skyfield and free Pokemon.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has 2 Pokemon in his hand right here, but no Skyfield. So Colress drawing a medium-sized 9 cards. It's all right, not bad.
It's not that good, really, is it?
Not that good. It's definitely not 16.
Yeah.
So, but that Garbotoxin, the real utility for this deck is being able to have that one-sided Garbotoxin with Klefki.
Yeah.
Silent Lab is something that shuts it down, but with having to force that Garbotoxin active early, you really kind of have to get it down, or else you can almost never do it because of Quaking Punch.
Yeah, exactly. And it did look like Chance found himself his dowsing machine there, so he can use that to get his Skyfield back. And I do believe I saw 2 Pokemon and an Ultra Ball in his hand, so he could actually go for the knockout here.
One card, interesting, he does not have a Field Blower, because you could even Field Blower your own Float Stone. But yeah, he does not have access to enough Pokemon to take the knockout, so just settling for the 120 damage with Riotous Beating here.
I think he did have enough, but I think he just thought to himself he'd have to play out his entire hand to do it, because he had the dowsing machine, he had the Ultra Ball, and he had the Execute and Yoricorio. So that would have been enough.
No, you need the full bench.
Wait, yeah, exactly, and that's 3 Pokemon. With the Ultra Ball as well, and the Egg and Yoricorio.
Oh, yeah. But that's so many. Or no, you couldn't play the items. We're good at this game.
Yeah.
That's why we're behind the booth.
Yeah, that's... whoops.
Quaking Punch is a pretty good attack.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Man,
Right.
should have played Pokemon Ranger.
All right. There is Faba, just a pretty great card to come out of Lost Thunder, just fully replacing a card like 0-6.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's just objectively better. And
the next card was Skyfield.
Oh, so you will be able to play that now. And
no, there is no draw supporter in Chance's hand.
So just
his
Delinquent
Floatstone on Garbodor might be just the nail in the coffin for him, at least early game here. Down double colorless in the discard from Enhanced Hammer, and then also fobbed one away.
It's not.
Is that a hue?
That is a hue.
I am loving it, Jimmy. Keep doing what you're doing.
Now there's a card I've not seen in a very, very long time. Of course, it does make both players either draw or discard cards from their hand until they're down or up to 5 cards in their hand. So
yeah, Jimmy, just play this card to draw 4 cards. Come on.
It's just like, it's crazy. And yeah, that Chance has a really he just discards all his items, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a way to have your opponent discard more resources than they really need to, because especially with games like this, they're long and drawn out. You are playing until you're decking your opponent out.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to do a lot of work.
Yeah, not only long and drawn out, but I mean, also because all these Zoroark variants draw so many cards, the hand sizes are huge, right? So more often than not, if you're playing Hue, you're making your opponent discard stuff.
Yeah, who needs red card to shuffle it all in the deck when they can just Colors for 16 next turn?
Yeah, exactly.
You can just Hue, make him discard everything.
Oh, Chance they're giving Jimmy a taste of his own medicine, though, as he does play a Faba of his own and actually lost zones the energy on the Seismitoad. So now, unless Jimmy can find a replacement double colorless, Chance has an opening to use the dowsing machine and just try and get himself back into this game.
Yeah, so it's awkward, though, because Jimmy does have that Field Blower in his hand, but I don't think you really play it here. That Garbotoxin is hurting your opponent more than it does for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no reason for you to just give your opponent an opening like that to start using trades. And looks like Jimmy is going to... Well, he did just play Versus Seeker for the Colress. He's playing an Ultra Ball just to discard some stuff he doesn't want to see, make himself more likely to draw that double colorless. And
I think he discarded another Faba as well, so 2 Faba in their list. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. We were just discussing now how powerful it is and expanded when all these decks are so double colorless reliant, and that's proof of it right there.
Yeah, Colors, a little bit
pretty good. It's just a simple matter of finding double colorless for him now.
Colors has been one of those cards that you really just need to play it in expanded.
Yeah.
The way the format has shaped up, Skyfield being so prevalent in a lot of decks, stuff like Rayquaza, Zoroark, and then most people just playing Bridget anyway.
Yeah.
It's almost never a bad card.
Yeah, there's no reason not to, right? It's just as shuffle draw stuff goes, it is just inherently the most powerful option available in expanded.
Especially for a lot of these decks that you don't want to discard a lot of your resources.
Yeah.
Professor Sycamore or Professor Juniper.
There is a counter catcher, of course. Jimmy is technically losing the game. He is behind on prizes, so you can use that.
But oh no, does not have the double colorless from that Colress to continue the Quaking Punch here.
Oh dear, and of course with the Garbotoxin active, no trade option available for Jimmy either. So yeah, just forced to use the counter catcher on the Tapu Lele and pass. Hope Chance can't find a way to get out of the active spot. He does have a Psychic Energy in hand.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Chance is actually playing probably a copy of that Trash Lance Garbodor with maybe 1 or 2 Psychic Energies here, and that is really just to surprise your opponent. Like, yeah, your usual Bridget is Ditto Trubbish Zorua most of the time.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, okay, well, evolve the, like, you just evolve the different stuff. If they knock out your Trash Lance, or knock out your Garb Toxin, then you just like, all right, well, I'm going to evolve my Ditto into, like, Trash Lance, or evolve my Trubbish into Trash Lance.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And he does actually opt to discard the Execute and the Oricorio off the Dowsing Machine, grabs himself the Chorus, plays down the Skyfield. There is the Trash Lance Garbodor in his hand. Does he attach the Psychic, I wonder? No, just going to go for the Chorus.
Yeah, and Chorus again for 10 cards. Yeah, and he played Skyfield, but no other Pokemon in his hand.
No. Well, he discarded his only other 2 basics.
Yeah.
So there it is. 10 cards for chance. What can he find himself? Floatstone.
So remember, both of his Floatstones are in play.
Yeah, exactly.
He's already used his Dowsing Machine. So there's no like Field Blower, my Floatstone, Dowsing Machine it back shenanigans here. There is no Guzma left in his deck.
Nope.
So this Lele will be having to force retreat.
Yeah. And there's a red card. So shuffling away that huge hand Jimmy had may make him more likely that Jimmy can find a double colorless.
Yeah, well, so the red card's good, though, because Jimmy's hand was huge.
Yeah,
he just chorused and passed, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Chance really needs to rely. He does have that double colorless in hand, so he might just try to deal 40 damage. It's not what you want to do. If he had the Choice Band, that would be a knockout. Yeah. Oh, he does! Choice Band to Tapu Lele. Energy Drive will take the knockout on Seismitoad thanks to that Ridus beating earlier in the game.
That is so good, and that's an amazing knockout there for Chance.
Granted, Jimmy can win even if his opponent has 1 prize left.
Yeah, that's the kind of deck he's playing.
He can still just draw Enhanced Hammer, draw like versus Seeker Faba, and still put a lot of pressure on Chance. Remember, this is his 3rd double colorless right now of this game.
Yeah.
1's already in the Lost Zone. And with this Garbotoxin, it's seeming like it's going to be active for the entire game. Jimmy does not care about his abilities.
No, he's realizing at this point that it puts a lot more hurts on Chance himself, like you said, compared to Jimmy, and so he's more than content for that to just sit there and make Chance not able to draw his outs, basically, just not able to find anything with the Zoroarks.
Oh, we actually see that Articuno GX in Jimmy's hand as well. One of the great benefits of attaching that water just to a Lele early on in the game, you can, okay, well, I can retreat this card if I need to, or I can Articuno, move the energy to it.
Yep.
Granted, that's if Garbotoxin is not active.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe...
Does have that 2nd double colorless.
He does.
And the Versus Seeker.
That going to be for... No, I probably might go for another Faber, but just the Chorus this time.
Yeah, I think with his hand being a Zoroark and I think another Pokemon, you kind of have to go for Chorus.
Yeah.
And you're drawing 10 cards. You might draw an Enhanced Hammer again.
Which would be very, very good for him. Now, I'm not sure how many rescue stretchers Jimmy still has access to, but could there be potential for discarding the 2 Enhanced Hammers and then just getting back to Giraffe Rig, get losting the energies, and then just winning, basically?
Yeah, it's a very big possibility. I think he used Rescue Stretcher to shuffle in a few Pokemon earlier before the course.
Okay.
But it's going to be interesting to see what he actually draws out of it. Ton of supporters. I don't know if I see Enhanced Hammer. There is the Field Blower, but again, I think he just prefers his opponent not being able to trade.
Yeah, I think so too. There's no real benefit for him.
That looks like a pretty bad 10 cards, though.
It is funny how sometimes when you draw 10 cards, you do just end up with like a hand clogged with just not useful things like that.
Yeah, he has no... Okay, I was about to say he has no Zorua. Doesn't even care about putting on top of his prizes. He's like, I am not taking a prize this game. It is fine.
Yeah.
I'll place it on top of wherever I want.
Yeah.
And, okay, we do see the Field Blower here.
Okay,
First
he's going
time for it. That means Skyfield is gone. So he's doing it to get rid of the Execute and that Tapu Lele. Sudowoodo is now active, so it puts Chance down to 4. He actually discards that Zorua. Could be interesting because we see the stand-in Zoroark in his hand as well.
Yeah, it's a shame that ended up working out like that.
Yeah, I think he just likes keeping that Floatstone on the bench Tapu Lele, and then, of course, never really want to discard Zoroark.
No, of course not.
Even though it has 90 damage on it. kind of just want to keep it there. Like,
Yeah.
I might need trades now.
Yeah, so Jimmy was actually debating whether he wanted to retreat or not, because he did have the float stone in his hand. He could have attached to preserve the energy, maybe considering a follow-up cold crush at some point, but deciding that you'd rather just discard the energy, save the float stone, and does just go for the quaking punch, 30 damage onto the Tapu Lele.
Yeah, and granted, this is not gonna knock out or threaten this Tapu Lele anytime soon, but that's not where your game plan is. Next turn, he's gonna probably try to Plumeria, because he has Execute back again, and Plumeria discard your double colorless or even Fava, and then just Quaking Punch again. And then if you try to knock me out again, sure, you can take 2 prizes. I'll bring on my other sides of Toad, get rid of your double colorless, and then how are you going to win from now on?
Yeah, exactly. There is the energy drive from Chance, just doing 110 damage, of course, with the choice band there. There is enough for the 2 shots onto the Seismitoad, so Jimmy needs to consider whether he wants to retreat here or not. Or actually, does he have an Acerola in his hand?
He does. Yeah,
okay.
His hand is insane. It'll be interesting to see if he opts for the Acerola or something like Plumeria just to get rid of that threat, because Acerola really just doesn't really do anything.
No.
You kind of waste your turn.
Yeah. It resets the damage, but other than that, it doesn't really do much. But there it is. Acerola picks up the Toad, brings up the other one. Imagine just going to reattach the double colorless energy and go for another Quaking Punch.
But now it's totally different because, yeah, Countercatcher, Garbodor.
Oh.
How are you going to win now? There is no Guzma in Chance's deck. It was Get Lost turn 1 by Jimmy here. And I don't know if he plays something like Acerola himself. AZ, maybe even. Those are more popular cards in the Zoroark Glycepod variant.
Yes. No Chance just concedes.
Scooping it up. Does not have it. One good thing that he did not show his opponent here is that Trash Lance Garbodor.
Yeah, so...
actually plays that 2-2, or the 2 Trubbish as well.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see, because Trash Lance is one of the ways you can actually just surprise a knockout against the Zoroark control deck. And you usually see some cards being added to the deck, like Pokemon Ranger or Fabas of your own. But as we saw there, Quaking Punch is pretty good.
Yeah, it's all this whole time, I think, ever since, it was around in Standard, and even after it cycled out into Expanded, there's just never been a time where it's been objectively bad that I can remember.
Yeah, and for all of you Zoroark and Lusamine haters out there, I think Jimmy maybe traded once that game.
Yep.
And did not play a Lusamine, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah. You don't need it, man. You just don't need it.
Yeah, pretty dominant game from Seismitoad EX there, showing item lock's pretty good.
Yeah, and also you don't need to take prizes to win Pokemon games.
No.
Like
yeah, you can just make your opponent not play the game.
Yeah,
and then you win.
It's pretty brutal, to be fair.
And this is what I was talking about before with the Zoroark control deck, just being able to come away from a match with some points.
Yeah,
we saw at the timer below there, it was 28 minutes, 27 minutes left, and you still have possibly 2 games to go through. So that first game took forever. Jimmy was pretty much dominating the entire game, and he didn't even get a lot of his cards that he needed.
No, he really didn't need to, right? Just because he had so much control over the board state and everything else with all of his Fabas and everything else, and like you said, traded once, maybe twice the entire game.
I think we're gonna see the Garbodor player just be able to hold off a little bit. Like, I'm not going to attach this Floatstone because I can't Field Blower my own thing when you're quick punching me.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's really going to have to rely on Klefki to get that one-sided. But again, with cards like Silent Lab and then Fava even to remove the Klefki, it's really hard to do consistently.
Yeah, exactly. And also because, I mean, even with Klefki, once it gets discarded, how's he getting it back if he doesn't?
No stretcher.
Yeah.
Item lock is powerful, and this Zoroark control deck is showing everyone why it is.
Yeah. Is Jimmy on course for another win? Like,
I mean, it looks like it. Fan Club turn 1 didn't have a Zorua and still just dominated the entire game.
Yeah, it's absolute madness. We will, of course, be ready to go back to Game 2. We guys just in a little bit. Our players looks like they're pretty much almost ready to go, and yet here they are. So Chance will, of course, be going first. Let's go for that turn 1 Battle Compressor. That's a really good opener.
Yeah, Battle Compressor gets those executes in the discard, and then your supporter of choice for the next coming turns, most likely. The thing you will have to watch out for is if Jimmy has that Get Lost ability again. Really interesting card that they put in the format in Giraffe Rig here. just being able to lost zone any 2 cards in your opponent's discard, it really forces players to play more conservatively.
Yeah, it does, and it's not an overpowered card either. Like being able to lost zone to your opponent's cards and discard pile is a very fair effect. But
yeah, you're not doing damage.
No,
you're not doing anything like that, and it's very fragile too.
Yeah, exactly. But it is still very good, obviously. Now
we actually see him only discard the 2 execute off that battle compressor. No supporter from Chance there. Maybe still fearing something like Get Lost. That losing that Kuzma was the nail in the coffin, and that was turn 1.
Yeah, that he definitely wants to avoid a repeat of that mistake. So
and actually, surprisingly here, with Chance's start with that Trubbish, Jimmy 100% knows his opponent is playing Trash Lanch now.
Yeah. There's no way that he wouldn't be.
Oh, you play 2 Trubbish?
Yeah.
All right, something's going on here.
Yeah, so something's happening here.
And it might, if Chance gets his normal setup, we might see Jimmy just, instead of go for the side sort route, he might go, maybe a Rangaroo and just energy denial, stuff like that.
Yeah, only going for 2 Zoros off of the Bridget, it looks like, as well.
Yeah, one interesting thing to note about this deck as well is Sudowoodo is pretty oppressive in a sense that if they pseudo you and you don't have a Klefki on your bench or access to play it down and they item lock you, you cannot activate Garbotoxin. And I ran into it multiple times and it hurts every time.
Yeah. That is pretty strong.
And again here, being forced to play a second late down again gets that Chorus for next turn. And granted, his hand's pretty good next turn. But we'll see what Jimmy can say about that. Parallel City being a pretty strong card in his hand right now.
It is, although if you use it right now, Chance will just get rid of the 2 Tapu Leles, so probably not the best chance to play it, although Jimmy seems to disagree.
Oh, you don't care. If you get rid of your Leles, it's still fine. You're not taking prizes. You don't want those guys on the bench because they have 1 retreat.
Yeah, no, that's true.
If you bring it up, they're 40. It's a good attacker against Toad, too. And there we see the turn 1 fan club again. And one interaction about Parallel City and Toad that people first learned about in Portland. Everyone knew, but they first learned about, if I Quaking Punch and I have the red side of Parallel on myself, I only do 10 damage. Oh, well, if you have an egg active, I do 0 damage. Oh, you don't play Acerola or anything like that? Oh, I get lost your Guzma? What do you do?
It's a sort of permanent stall in your active.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All right. Again, the second Lele from Jimmy here, getting that Chorus. Kind of a Nombo with Chorus and Parallel City, but you kind of expect your opponent to draw out of it anyway.
Yeah, you do.
And unfortunately for Jimmy, I don't think he has an energy to attach this turn. So he might just pass after this. And it gives Chance a little bit of wiggle room. But again, I'm going to be interested to see if he goes to play down that Garbodor in his hand. It could just be a trap. That's 3 retreat on the bench.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was a trap for him last game. He's kind of got a little bit stuck when Jimmy just brought up in the active, and then all of a sudden he was just getting Quaking Punched a lot, and then he just ended up conceding the game.
Oh, gets that Klefki though. But again, Jimmy with no Zorua in play. I don't want to be item locking right now.
No, it's
and I think Chance finally agrees. He saw the plays that Jimmy was making last game and has changed his style to accommodate it. And that's one thing you need to do in these pseudo Zoroark mirror matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Chance sort of adapting well here to the variants of Zoroark that Jimmy is playing, taking the lessons from game 1 and applying them well. He does end up drawing 6 off of that Chorus. He finds looks like a Pokemon Communication and a red card too.
Red card could be good. You know your opponent has that Chorus in their hand.
Yeah, he does just play it.
But again, Jimmy didn't have that double colorless. It's just another out possibly for him. But with both Tapu Lele in play, he does have less options to draw into.
Yeah, and also you have to play it statistically, right? If you even if there's a chance that you make your opponent more likely to hit one because you didn't have one before, it's still a lower number of cards in the hand. So on average, like most of the time, it's better to just do it.
Oh, and I can't see his hand. Little angle it up a little bit more, Jimmy. Come on. There we see double execute, Ultra Ball, gets another Zoroark GX.
Yeah. He did double egg to discard a Dowsing Machine and Dowsing Machine for the Ultra Ball,
Oh.
and then use that to. I've done that so many times. It's crazy.
So same premise, just takes a little bit longer to get there.
Yeah, it does.
And there it is again.
Another
execute showing its usefulness in basically almost every deck here that discards cards.
Yeah, turning Ultra Ball into search your deck for a Pokemon essentially is pretty good. Go figure.
C and N, but again, no double colorless here, just a Psychic Energy, not even a Skyfield to bump the stadium here.
Okay, for like a split second, I thought that card in Chance's hand was a Puzzle of Time, and I got really confused, but it's not, it's a Versus Seeker.
I do like him playing Versus Seeker here. You just almost expect your opponent every time to Quaking Punch you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't want to get punished by leaving something in your hand.
He actually, interestingly enough, opted to take one Execute back to his hand as well. Just
I think that was for the Pokemon communication, just to have access to it, because I don't think he has another Pokemon in his hand.
But then he just attacked.
What?
Oh, no, but then he just passed anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, just something to hold, and if you might want more Pokemon, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah. Because if you want to do it for communication, then surely you just do it now, because you might just get Seismic Toaded now, and, well, there you go. Now, no, Jimmy's hand is really weak. Oh, that red card hit him rough.
You see the water energy, but nothing else from there. And this is Chance's moment. He's going to need to put something together, but it's going to start with finding a Skyfield.
Yeah, that's going to be basically goal number one for him right now.
Oh, and it was the first card off of that trade.
That is exactly what you want.
And it was Skyfield Shaman, too, so it's pretty good.
That is pretty good. And we now see just how much more power Chance has in this game of just virtue of like not activating his own Garbotoxin, realizing that having it active in this particular matchup probably just hurts him more than it does Jimmy. So opting just not to go for it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, though, with those 3 trades, he did not draw into really much of anything.
No.
He still has just the Psychic Energy, plays that Pokemon communication, but could be looking for that Garbodor. And if he has the Float Zone, he could play it and then retreat into it. But with that Sudowoodo, it's kind of impressive. Yeah. He's eyeing down that Klefki, but playing the Trubbish, you don't have bench space.
Well, but you have Skyfield.
No, but Sudowoodo.
Oh, it says still active, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
That Oranguru actually can't be played yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. Of course, because no, you can't play it. No.
Yep. Sudowoodo. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that does not work.
I mean, usually you just have Garbotoxin active. You're like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And we actually see it in his hand, but there's no reliable way to retreat. No Floatstone.
He could evolve the Garbodor in the active and then attach the Choice Band, activate Garbotoxin, but then he's got a Garbodor with a Choice Band on, and that's terrible.
I think this was helping your opponent even more. I actually like this play a lot, though. Yeah. Having 3 cards in hand, even though they are not the best 3 cards, being able to get rid of resources from your opponent is a pretty good move to do.
It is.
Now, Ultra Ball's not an out. Dowsing Machine's not really an out.
No.
Because he doesn't really play those executes, or at least not in his discard at this
yeah,
time.
Exactly. And, really, really strong Delinquent there from Chance. And now you can just do some more trades. Eventually just find a... Oh, there's a Guzma.
Oh, Guzma is pretty powerful. Still looking for that double colorless energy here. No, nothing yet. 3rd trade. He has drawn so many cards. Double colorless, does he find it? No.
How do you miss drawing that many cards?
And again, with the Guzma here, it's really not going to be what you want to do. We could see a play of Guzma and then pick up with Trubbish, but I think that's just too cute.
yeah, probably. It looks like he's just going to go for the chorus instead to try and
stomp off.
Yeah.
That's probably your top card.
Hey, I mean, if it's a supporter, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Although, the worst thing would be, all right, stomp off, discard the top card. Oh, Corals? You have Verseeker in hand?
Oh, yeah.
So, this is only 7 cards here.
Yeah.
From, is that 8? Yeah, careful.
Yep. It's a good chance draws the way he does, so even if he draws too many, like it's never an issue.
It's pretty heads up thinking here.
Yeah.
Just be able to catch yourself, and That is not a good hand.
No, that's a. I think the technical term is atrocious hand. Like,
A garbage hand.
yeah.
As we would say. And he should have stomped off. Oh my gosh. Sycamore off the top of the deck. Where was that stomp off?
Yeah, chance.
And
You might say he missed his chance.
Oh, that was great. I'm going to give you credit for that, Nick.
Thank you.
That's why we have you here.
Just that specifically.
Just for the puns.
Okay, I'll take it.
Oh, man.
I bet
How heartbreaking. That it always happens.
Yeah.
When you delinquent your opponent, they always draw out of it, no matter what.
I mean, it did take 2 turns for Jimmy, to be fair.
It did,
yeah, but that's that's got to be pretty heartbreaking if your name is Chance right now.
Yeah, good thing for him though. Jimmy just played that Zorua and passed. Chance drew into the double colorless.
Yeah.
It was the next card.
Oh, there's a psychic energy. Should have gone for stomp off, and then
Now he has all his energy.
he does double colors too. And there's a float stone, so actually,
All right, Floatstone Guard, but again, that does lock your play up a little bit too. But you kind of need to play it.
yeah,
Not having access to Klefki here.
float stone. Does he have? And he has it all. He has the Garbotoxin as well, so he can just.
Has the Garbotoxin, has the Pokemon to take the knockout, but sometimes I don't know, like knockout on Lele isn't the best thing in the world.
It's not, but Chance needs to take prizes, right? If he just sits back and does nothing, he loses anyway. So it's kind of a risk he has to take. Or
Guzma. I like the Guzma here. I think he has enough Pokemon in his hand to take the knockout on the size of Toad. Oh, double egg. Of course he does.
Yeah. Okay. That works pretty well. Hard to argue with that.
Can't play the execute down. He needs to play the Garbotoxin first.
Getting a little bit ahead of himself. He does have it. There we go.
See a little thumbs up from Jimmy. Like,
yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. 6. I believe he'll need 7 on the bench with the choice band to get the KO.
I actually like playing the Klefki down too. Just because if Garbotoxin does get shut off, you can discard cards and then keep the Klefki down and then just trigger it again next turn.
And quite cleverly as well, he's done the preemptive Guzma as well. Then preemptive Verseeker for the Guzma, just make sure he has access to it next turn.
I like it. He's definitely changed up his game plan from
he has.
game 1 here.
Yeah. Also, I think he actually had to play down the Klefki to get the KO anyway, because you need because you need 7 on the bench even with the choice band to get a KO, because that's 190 with the choice band.
All right, but action is back on Jimmy here. We see the Dancing Machine in his hand. Also has a Zoroark, a Fava as well. And here we see the Field Blower.
Yeah.
Field Blower, the Floatstone, and the Sky Field, I believe.
Yeah, looks like it. And honestly, I think
getting Choice Band also could be pretty good because it's just a way to have him knock out your guys easier.
Yeah.
But Skyfield is definitely a good. Oh, and discards the Klefki.
So.
All right. He is valuing that Trubbish because of Trash Lanch.
Yeah. No, but I was actually going to say, is there an argument to just discard the Garbodor instead of the Klefki?
You could.
Yeah.
It's definitely was an option here.
Yeah, because he could have then. I'm pretty sure he could have just stretched it back to the Garbodor if he needed it later, and then he could just actually choose to, alternate with turning it on with Klefki and all that. But now he hasn't.
It's just hard to do in the face of Sudowoodo.
Yeah, that's true.
It could have been a play he could do if he Guzma the Sudowoodo last turn and knocked that out.
Yeah, okay.
But you never really want to do that.
No, of course, that makes sense. But it's a shame because now he's stuck with a counter-captured Garbodor in the active.
Oh, yeah. He does have that Guzma in his hand, though.
Yeah, he does.
Unless Jimmy has something like a red card, it'll be safe for at least a turn.
He just grab himself the size toe there. You have to assume he has a double colorless in his hand. There's his one trade.
I don't know if I see it.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't see it either.
There is the enhanced hammer.
Okay, so that's good for him at least. But Chance is going to have another turn of items. That is not good news for Jimmy.
Another turn of items, another turn of abilities as well. We already know he has the double colorless Guzma in his hand from the previous turn.
He sure does.
One thing to probably keep track of now is that item count in Jimmy's discard as well. That Trubbish is pretty threatening if it could be a Garbodor.
Yeah, and it's that's pretty rough for him now because if he had discarded to just maybe I'd even discard either the other Trubbish instead of the Klefki, then he could have gotten the Garbotoxin off again and actually started doing stuff. But now. But now what does he do?
All right, so there's a few things Chance really needs to get going this turn. He's going to play the Guzma and knock something out. It just depends what he wants to knock out. So you can Guzma up the Sudowoodo, knock it out, and not trigger Trashland or not trigger Garbotoxin. And then next turn you still have access to trades. You and aren't really boggled down by all that stuff. You could save your Skyfield.
Yeah.
But then you have the option of just bringing up the Toad.
Yeah.
Already knocked out one Toad. You don't want to go for Sudowoodo because it's a one prize attack or one prize guy. Yeah. And if you just knock out Toad, Lele, you win the game. So it'll be interesting to see what routes he takes. Having that Trash Lanch could be a great option for him and maybe just forces him to, I'm going to knock out the Toad.
Yeah, it's a tricky decision no matter which way you look at it. His hand is massive. He has an Ultra Ball, but I'm not sure.
I thought that was his deck.
No.
Yeah, not bad.
Am I right to assume that he's probably only playing one Garbotoxin Garbodor? That seems to be like the normal sort of.
That's what it looks. No, he plays two.
Oh, he played
one
two.
got lost.
Lost. Okay. No, that was game one, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, but he had to get lost, and then he got the other one.
Okay, right. So
yeah, choosing to bring up that Sudowoodo, and I think he has that red card in hand. I would probably play it, getting that Trash Lunch down, just threatening it. It's
gonna be close no matter which way you look at it. I think Chance does have a legit chance of winning this game. Note, and that is no pun intended.
Did he versus Seeker the Guzma again or no?
I don't think he had a versus Seeker to do it with.
Ooh, that could be a big thing though too. If Quaking Punch on that Garbodor with a counter catcher could just lock out the game again.
We know Jimmy's played one of his counter catchers. He's just played two. If he can find that other one, then obviously that would be very strong.
You see the Fighting Fury build, but again, this has been the problem of Jimmy this game. No double colorless in sight form, and counter catcher off the top is not a bad draw here.
No, not at all.
Has counter catcher Plumeria if he wants another Zoroark. Ooh, okay. Double colorless. Does he draw it?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He gets the double colorless, has that Fighting Fury belt, has the counter catcher. This is the perfect turn from Jimmy here, and he could just lock up the round right here.
That is absolutely perfect turn.
And he plays the N for 3. Ooh.
Cannot
if
ask
only you could play a tool on your opponent's Pokemon. Like Headringer your Garbodor, trigger Garbotoxin. What do you do?
Can you imagine? That would be absolutely insane. It's funny how because obviously Headringer only works on EXs, we don't really see it C-play much anymore, but I really like the concept of like that sort of card, you know, that something that sort of you could play on your opponent's Pokemon. You don't see many cards like that in the game.
All right. And one of the beautiful things about this Zoroark control deck is N is a draw 6 most of the time against Zoroark decks.
Yeah, it sure is. And what does Chance do now? He's going to take 40 to the Garbodor. No way to retreat it, really, with no access to Guzma. It's a really, really tough spot for him.
Yeah, to be fair, though, dealing 40 damage a turn, this Garbodor will be knocked out in the next 2 turns.
It will, that's true.
Unless Jimmy finds Parallel City or something like that.
But also delay the knockout for longer, which actually just work out better for him.
But it does buy Jimmy a few turns.
It does.
And that's what he needs.
Yeah. Another trade there.
There we see a Faba from Chance here.
Big find.
The first double colorless Jimmy finds, and it just gets lost zoned.
Yeah. That's exactly what Chance would have wanted to see, I imagine. He does have a Chorus in his hand for next turn as well, so he can draw a few more cards.
Chorus does have that Versus Seeker for that Guzma. This would be a pretty important turn where if you could Giraffe or get lost that Guzma.
Did Jimmy discard the...
Yeah, he discarded it early.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But he has that Stretcher in hand.
He does.
So but I think no access or real way of actually getting it in the active spot reliable.
That he need that and an energy. So
yeah,
so, yeah
and there is Plumeria discarding a Bridget.
Oh, doing a double colorless.
Ooh, it's pretty good.
That is pretty good. That might just lock out the game unless Chance can find another way to discard the double colorless.
Well, again, it doesn't lock up the game because this Garbodor is just going to get knocked out. There are a ton of items in Jimmy's discard, and that Trash Lanch is looking mighty threatening on the bench.
That's very true as well.
And again, you have to remember, this is game 2. Jimmy,
his game too.
all
yes.
he needs to do is just survive.
Yeah, as long as he can stop Chance from taking the remaining 3 prizes, that's all that really matters.
And that's what this is doing. It's buying turns.
Yeah. The more turns...
We could even see him maybe Guzma or something like that, not even take the knockout, kind of bait Chance into activating Garbotoxin again or something.
Yeah. It is a shame how, like, Jimmy, well, for Jimmy, because I imagine his ideal scenario would be to just, like you said before, try and get the Giraffe Rig into the active, use Get Lost.
I actually don't see many items in Jimmy's discard. It's pretty funny. He's kind of just low-key been playing around it. Didn't he just Plumeria?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so Jimmy can't play this loose main unless he just drew pass. Maybe he did that.
Maybe, but
yeah, I think he just drew pass.
Okay.
I would have to think. No.
No, I don't think he did. We gotta get the judges to confirm on that.
So maybe we'll get someone on it, but I do think he may have played 2 supporters in a turn.
Yeah. So we'll just get the judges to sort of look into that, and or send someone up just to make sure. Yeah, there's. Well, looks like the judge is looking for the discard pile now.
Unless he just opted not to, but I think he's been attacking every turn with Quaking Punch.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Yeah, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, there was 40-40, and then reduced 20. Oh, it was draw pass. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
All right, so yeah, that's all cleared up. It's all fine. There's for the first knockout, Jimmy's taken this entire match.
Woo!
Yeah.
Maybe you do need to take prize.
Yeah, sometimes, not always.
No, yeah. All right, item count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 items.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
No, it's not. It is enough for a knockout on a Tapu Lele if the Chance had a choice band, but he can't play a choice band anyway because Quaking Punch has just been used.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for Jimmy right here, having that Parallel City, reducing your own Toad damage as well, so it just draws the game on longer. 2 minutes left, and Jimmy really needs to just survive.
Yeah. There is the double colorless onto the active Zoroark. There is a Riser's Beating that will be doing 110, so that is exactly enough for a 2-shot, even with the Fighting Fury Belt. But then if Jimmy can just discard this energy or even just peel this Seismitoad, then there's really no chance of taking his remaining prizes.
Yeah, I believe Jimmy has basically his entire deck in his hand. Acerola has access to Plumerias, has access to maybe Enhanced Hammer, even Baba. That is a pretty good hand. Having that hue as well, but not something you want to play right here.
Well, no, you don't want to just make yourself discard pretty much like your entire deck from your hand. That's not going to work out well. Oh, Jimmy does not have many cards in deck, actually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he has his Fossil in his deck.
Yes.
That is the one way for this deck to not really deck out ever.
Yeah, he just...
is a combination of Tortuga, Archon, and Lileep.
Yes.
That prehistoric call, basically take it from your discard, put it in your deck.
Which team are you?
I am Tortuga.
Yeah.
He is a pretty cool looking turtle.
Yeah. I'm more for Arkham myself.
And
you look so disappointed.
I am. Yeah. Very disappointed.
I'm not sorry.
So there is the Acerola, the Retreat, the Tapu Lele. Does he opt to play the Fighting Fury Belt again?
I mean, there's no reason not to, right? You're doing just for the extra survivability, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think he's just going through the motions. Looking like not, because he just wants to do 10 damage. And there we go, Quaking Punch.
Yeah. Chance
just force his opponent to have it, which
Chance
there's a lot of Pokemon in that hand.
There is a chance.
He's going to need to play a little bit faster, but with time running down, I think he's only going to have 2 turns to try to take this. And no. Opting not to play the Parallel City or play the Skyfield and then just take the knockout.
Did he have enough Pokemon to do it?
I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
So it looks like time was called. I don't know whose turn time was called on. Chance's turn did happen pretty fast.
Yeah.
And
So
we got confirmation Jimmy is turn 0. Chance will have 2 turns left to try to take this game here.
it is possible. He can take 3 prizes in 2 turns.
But check me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he had all the Pokemon in his hand with the Skyfield to take the knockout.
Does he definitely have a Skyfield in his hand?
I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
With a hand that big, you kind of expect it, right?
Yeah, but maybe he just doesn't. Because, yeah, like I said, I can't imagine he wouldn't take the knockout if it was there available to him. Yeah, Jimmy's really considering this as well. I think he might be a little bit worried about. Oh, he's just considering whether he wanted to draw the extra cards or not. I don't see a fossil in his hand actually either.
Yeah, one card we haven't seen at all from Jimmy here is Gladian. He does have Rescue Stretcher in hand, so he's not going to deck out just yet. Oh, actually puts it active. He could just be playing an N this turn.
Okay.
Or even Colress. Colress draws you less cards.
Oh, he has the N. Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
Ending your opponent's 3 is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, I would have liked to see Chance if he had the Skyfield. We'll never know now.
No, yeah,
we'll never know.
No.
But that Fighting Fury belt on that second Seismitoad is pretty impressive here. And
that
with
might
the end of 3 and trainer lock or item lock, it's going to be pretty hard for Chance to actually take this game.
That's probably what Jimmy was thinking about when he decided not to attach the Fury belt to the active last turn. He thought, right, I'll take a hit with the first Toad, float stone it.
Yeah, even if he knocks out the Seismitoad, if I have this Fury belt for the second Toad, then you're not going to be able to knock it out.
Yeah, exactly. It forces Chance to find a Guzma at that point. And I'm not sure if he can actually do that.
Does have the Skyfield in his hand.
He has
he
2
will
trades.
have to rely on these trades to get something going. This is turn 1 here, and Chance is just playing for a tie. He cannot win the match. He's just playing for a tie.
Right, if Chance is turn 1.
Yeah, but Jimmy won game 1.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So
if Chance wins this game, then they tie.
Okay.
But if Jimmy holds on, then yeah, Jimmy's looking at a cool 1-0 victory.
Yeah, he is. There's
trying to clean up this card a little bit.
Yep. What's he find? Bunch of looks like a field blower.
He does have a couple Pokemon. Field blower, Skyfield.
I mean, the field
Can't play the field blower.
It would be great if Jimmy hadn't Quaking Punched.
Yeah, unfortunately, no supporter in his hand, so no real way to take the knockout on this Toad, and I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
Chance only has this turn and 1 more turn, and he won't be able to take 3 prizes in that span of time.
No, that will probably be all she wrote unless Chance can just do something completely unexpected, but I don't really see that happening somehow. Yeah, he's thinking about it, but there's...
I think the one out he had was Psychic Energy.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Yeah,
so,
and there we go. Jimmy Pendarvis steals one away, just showing the power of Zora control here.
Yeah. Right, that's... I mean, really great demonstration for round 1 of just the continued power of this sort of control Zoroark Seismitoad variant.
Yeah, and we saw in this matchup, Jimmy didn't really prioritize getting Zoroarks early.
No.
He had maybe 1, the game 1, and then game 2 he eventually had 2, but it took him a while, and it's something you don't really care about. All you really care about is, like, as long as I control your energy and your items, I don't really need to draw cards.
Right, yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, if you're locking out the game that much, then you have all the time in the world to draw the cards you need to advance your game state regardless.
And there you have it. Jimmy is now 1-0 here, looking for the 4-peat.
Yes.
And we are going to take a quick break here. Don't go anywhere.